Alrighty, lads, so we're actually moving into Ordeal Call over here on the NA side of things, and I thought it'd be very prudent of me to show you what it looks like over on the JP side of things so you know what to expect, because it is actually a pretty nice update with the new quests that we're going to be able to do, but it is one of those things that if you want to maximize on it, you do need to be aware of it and kind of be on top of that. Also, if you're just wondering when the Ordeal Call chapters are going to be dropping, they're going to be dropping a little bit before anniversary, kind of around when we're going to be getting the lottery, around like that May, June-ish type area. Kind of depends on if they want to drop it a little bit early. I don't think they put it in the actual roadmap because technically it's a new story chapter and they don't want to spoil all of that. They don't want people to know there's going to be a new story chapter, although they're obviously fine people knowing about the random arcade collaboration. But let me just go over to the JP side of things and show you what this is going to look like. Now, obviously, you're not going to have all of this craziness, right? Like this over here is related to Ordeal Call 3. This is going to be related to the next Ordeal Call 4, I believe. And then the other thing you don't have to worry about is this over here. This is going to be Ordeal Call 2. But everything else, these are quests that we're going to get going into the new, end game stuff for FGO, or I guess next chapter stuff for FGO. You can kind of view Ordeal Call is kind of like 1.5, that transition between, the Goetia plotline into the Lost Belt story plotline. It's kind of like that, to not get into too many spoilers. Effectively, it's focusing around the different extra classes, right? Where the first one, I believe, is centered around like alter egos. The second one is very obviously based around Avengers. Third one is around moon cancers, and the next one should be around rulers, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And then we should also have one for foreigners, which not sure how that's going to work because we need to get 2 story chapters in by the end of the year, so they might either mash those together or just say, foreigners don't matter. We're just gonna do the ruler one, right? Which, to be fair, I would like to see what they would do with a ruler one. But effectively what you get on this map, and I'm glad that I haven't done this because I can also show this off, is that you're going to have these different free quests over here. And these are actually really good because frequently, as you can see right now, they do go on half AP. So this one in America is one where you can farm QP. This is going to be kind of like a money farming one, which is actually really, really nice because it's typically going to be cheaper to run than the Chaldea Gate one, your dailies where you go fight against the doors. It's typically going to be cheaper because it's always going to be half off. You can only run it 9 times a day because you need these little like white items over here that you get 9 of every single day, but it will be nice like little runs that you're able to do. And they also give a bit more bond because I believe they are just harder quests, so you get more bond out of it. So if you're trying to bond farm and resource farm at the same time, it's really good for that. It's just you need to have a little bit stronger of a box. This one in particular has like 450k enemies on it. I have an NP2 Senji Muramasa. I have no, Oberon or anything, and I'm able to get it cleared. I don't even know if my team is actually saved from the last time I've run this one. You've probably seen it in a couple of background things, like when I do go farm, but just to kind of show, like, they are difficult, but you can get through them. Yeah, okay, my team's not saved, but usually it would be something along the lines of, like, double Castoria, my Muramasa, and then, like, a Lady Avalon that I pulled about like a year ago is able to get through that. So not the most difficult, you can get through them. The other thing that you can do that's kind of nice for farming is, like, let's say we go down over here to like King Protea. There are these really large 1 million HP enemies. She is not on the initial batch, if I'm remembering correctly. That's going to be people like Liz and I think like Bartholomew are some of the initial batches for these big 1 million HP enemies, but they're really easy to do. Like, if you can get a method of taking these guys down in like 1 turn, instead of having to go through like a 3-turn farm, you just blow up this really large enemy and you get the items you need. And then stuff for like, say, the Casterlas over here just gives you like caster pieces, which maybe is not as good. Like some of the ones that drop, say, like seeds for King Protea, I think are a bit more useful because you go in there, drop rate's pretty decent, and it's very, very fast. It's extremely quick to just run in there, drop a nuke, get out of there. Especially if you have somebody like Oberon, you've got Black Grail, it could be a pretty good cakewalk. I mean, even I was unable to one-shot the King Protea for a bit because my Kama wasn't quite up to snuff. She's NP1 and I didn't even have Ruler Scotty, but even then it would be like, oh, Kama plus like decent RNG face cards could 1-turn it, or if anything, it would be like a 2-turn. Then you also have like other nodes over here. These are all going to be kind of just like your 90++ nodes, your your normal high difficulty ones. Not that one. Where is like a normal one? That's Galatea. I think this is a normal one. Yeah. So these are kind of like your normal nodes, except you can kind of view them as like 90 plus or 90 plus pluses from various events. Some of them are more normal where you can just run in there and it's like, oh, the enemies are really large. I'm just gonna, use some of my stronger guys and kind of get through there. But then other ones are going to be more like your event 90 pluses or 90 plus pluses, where it's going to be like a 1-2-3 node or like a 3-1-2 or a 1-1-2, just very odd kind of placings for the enemies. But again, you're getting more bond. Typically they are on, discounted AP because they're more limited, and the drop rates are like pretty decent. So that's pretty much the main stuff that you're going to be expecting from the Bleached Earth. And then obviously they will go through and they will continue to add missions on here, so there is more stuff to do as time goes on. Eventually we will be getting these giant pit crater things in here. I don't think it's too spoilery because I think everybody's kind of seen it, but these are the Olga fights that you have to do. So this is like the water one that I have still been very lazy on doing, because as of right now, I'm like, well, there's no real reason to go in a rush and do this because, I mean, we don't really get anything out of it. We get some like random key item that Lord knows what that's going to do. The first one we're going to get is the fire one, which isn't too difficult. These quests, essentially, you bring in like 10 different parties. Don't be alarmed. It's not like you have to field 10 different parties full of like 6 different servants to clear them. It's effectively like 10 gimmick fights that you're going to try to get through. For instance, like the big Olga fight at the very end, I was able to pretty much clean up with Melusine over here on the JP side of things. They're really not all that difficult. If you're able to clear, Lost Belt 6, Lost Belt 7, all of these main story fights, these are not going to be things that are really going to give you that much trouble. They're just kind of nice little gimmick fights that you're able to do every now and then. And then who knows, maybe we're getting a free Olga or whatever they're going to end up doing with this. Like, I literally have no idea. I would assume they wouldn't give Olga out for free considering how popular she is, but a lot of people are on the copium like, dude, we're gonna get a free 6-star Olga Marie. It's like, okay, that's a lot, dude. Like, first free 6-star servant. Like, not only are we gonna get a rarity upgrade, but it's gonna be this dummy popular character. I'm not so sure about that. I'm all for snorting the copium on that one, but I'm not too sure if that's going to be a thing that we're going to be getting. But these are very nice. The reason I say you need to be prudent when you're doing them is that you do have 9 of these a day, and if you're not trying to just turn your AP into blue apples, maybe you have run out of your seedlings. As I know, there were JP players, not around this time, but like in a couple months, that have just been doing that every single day. They were like, well, I'm out of my little seedlings, now I actually have to use my AP every single day. I know they were like, I've run out of the ability to do so. These are not bad to do. Like, occasionally, if I'm really on the ball on things, I will come in here and I will just farm this during down periods because it's just really nice. It helps you out with your bond. It's good for resources. There are also, and I believe this is one of them, this is a normal, is this a normal one or is this one of the challenge quests? I think this is a normal node, but one of the things that you would see around here is that there are also boss fights that you're able to do as well that help you out for your class scoring system, which should be coming out around this time as well. I will just show you that real quick just because they do kind of tie into each other, and I think it's prudent to know what that is. But effectively over here you have your class scoring system. This is just going to give you little buffs to your various classes of characters. Obviously on JP, we have a little bit more because we're a little bit further along in the story, but say you're like, oh man, my favorite character is Artoria. I want my Artoria to be as strong as possible. You can come in here and start filling out this tree. Now, it is, I would say, a bit more late to end gamey type content because, as you can see, not only do you need this dust stuff from doing the Bleached Earth missions, but it's going to cost you QP, it's going to cost you mats, and I would not recommend going super deep into this unless you've already, got a very well established account, unless you've actually got stuff to spare. Because if you're like me, and you've got 10 night medals, that's probably better spent leveling up one of your, night medal needing characters, getting their skills up or getting them ascended, than it is to give them this small little boost over here. I also do know that it, it procs on command spell as well, so I guess it also kind of incentivizes you to not like role play a little bit, but where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna go for the finishing blow on this guy. I'm popping my command spell on my Morgan. I guess they're trying to incentivize people to maybe use command spells for that reason, which I kind of like. It kind of fits into the lore for Fate, where instead of just, oh, I'm gonna use it as a heal or I'm gonna use it as NP, it also gives you a buff because, in the shows, you use your command spell, you power up your servant. They get a big, fat, juicy buff. So I kind of like that you actually get something out of using that now. But it really is just, little things that you're able to do to buff up your servants. If I click on one of these, does it show it? Yeah. So these are the things you get from like the challenge quests. You also get them from various missions. Whenever we do end up getting the Bleached Earth missions, we're going to get an influx of just grails, lores, and a bunch of different materials. I remember when this dropped initially on JP, it was like, here are your 25 grails, sir. Here's like 40 lores just for doing various missions, just for like having guys leveled and just going through story, just playing the game effectively. Like, I know I walked out like an absolute bandit, and these missions are actually still live because I don't think I have all of them done. If I can go over and show you guys what that looks like as well, just to make sure I'm covering all my bases, that we guys can kind of see everything that we're going to be getting. But they are rather nice because it's just like a bunch of missions to be doing in the background. I think it's in here. Yeah, those are the Sanquits one. Yeah, so you can see them right here where it's like, oh, you've leveled up like X amount of like Saber class servants. You've done, you know, X amount on archers, on lancers, on riders, on all these different things, and you get various materials for it. You can see, I mean, yeah, like you're getting foes, you're getting QP, you're getting bond lanterns, you know, you're getting the dust to be able to level up, you know, your servant's class score. And there's also Sanct Quartz for this. If I'm remembering correctly, it is 3 Sanct Quartz per 10 class nodes you unlock. That's those little individual ones. So also, if you're in need of Sanct Quartz and you have materials to spend, or it's asking for material that you just have like 2,000 of, like it's like, oh, I need 10 bones, you're like, I've got 1,000 bones, you can go ahead and afford to spend those and you're doing good on QP. It is a nice way to kind of get a little bit of an influx of Sanct Quartz. I know I did that when Low High dropped over here on JP. I started randomly leveling up a bunch of just class scores as much as I can and still didn't get her, but that's neither that's neither here nor there. All right, but that's pretty much everything that I can think of going into the Ordeal Call prologue that you need to be aware of. As far as the free quests, the challenge quests, I mean, missions, class scoring, all that good stuff. I'll probably make another video, like, officially, like, saying, like, oh, here's the things when they actually drop. I don't think I'm going to do guides for how to clear the free quest, because, again, it's just like any free quest that we ever get, you know, you're going to find a way to clear it, or you're probably not going to be bothered to be able to do so. So, with all that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you're excited for this update. I know that I am over on the NA side of things, because it does give me a better node to go ahead and farm. More bond means more Sanct Quartz, and I'm still trying to get my Morgan to bond 15 eventually, so having an easier node to do that while getting better materials is always going to be welcome. I also do want to say that I am going to be going live in maybe about like 2-3 hours from now, trying to finish Lost Belt 7, both over here on the YouTube and over on the Twitch. So, you know, either use the Twitch link in the description down below and go watch it over there, or just stick around on the YouTube, click that little bell notification, and I'll be going live over here as well. I think we're like right at the Comet Saws fight, so hoping we could just blitz through the rest of the content later today. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace, light, guys.